And we're on to another science topic. Today, it's photosynthesis. Big word. Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Let's get started. Are you ready? I am. There's a lot to learn about photosynthesis. First, let's talk about autotroph and heterotroph. So autotrophic or autotrophic organism. Lots of ways you might hear it. An autotroph is an organism that can produce their own food. So they're called producers. And usually those are plants. There are some bacteria, though, that are autotrophs, but primarily we're talking plants. And then heterotrophic or heterotrophs or heterotrophic organisms. These are organisms that cannot produce their own food. They have to get their food by consuming other organisms. And sometimes they consume autotrophs, like the cow is consuming the grass, but sometimes they consume other organisms, like a snake eats a mouse, but they are not making their own food. They're getting it from another organism, okay? So an autotroph is called a producer. They make their own food from sunlight. Heterotroph is a consumer, and they cannot make their own food. They must consume other organisms, whether that's plants, animals, decaying organisms, whatever. They have to get their nutrition from somewhere else. So there is a fun fact. Troph means nutrition. Auto means self. So autotroph means self-nutrition. They make their own food. And hetero means other, and troph means nutrition. So heterotroph means other nutrition. They have to get their nutrition from other things. Science is awesome. Words are awesome. Okay, so what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is how plants make their food, okay? So where can you find photosynthesis happening in a cell? So we're looking at a plant cell. Inside the plant cell, there's organelles, and one specific organelle we want to focus on is the chloroplast. And chloroplast inside has these little coins. I call them stacks of pancakes or stacks of coins. They're thylakoids. Okay, and inside the chloroplast is this amazing pigment called chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is what reflects green light back to our eyes and makes plants look green. So chlorophyll is really why plants look green, okay? And chlorophyll is a light absorber, which we'll talk about later, okay? And so inside this amazing organelle, the chloroplast, that's where photosynthesis happens. We need chlorophyll, that pigment, in order for it to happen, but it's happening in that organelle, the chloroplast. And chloroplasts only found in plant cells, not in animal cells. So, but we were just talking about plants being green. Oh, chlorophyll. Chlorophyll absorbs, loves two colors of light the best, red and blue. And it reflects green light. So red and blue are its favorite. So if you wanted to be a best friend to your plant, you would get a blue light or a red light. Those kinds of light that can absorb the best and perform photosynthesis the best. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. Why do leaves change color? So in the fall, we start to see these amazing colors, reds and yellows and oranges and almost purpley colors in some. Well, why is that? Well, chlorophyll, remember, is a pigment, but it's not the only pigment. Inside a plant cell, there are lots of other pigments, and different kinds of plants have different kinds of pigments. But here's the problem. Well, not really a problem, but here's the reason. There's so much chlorophyll that it blocks out the other pigments so we can't see them. So imagine it's something like this. So I have this drawing right here, okay? That's representing all the various pigments that are present in a plant cell all the time. They're there all the time. And then chlorophyll, like a big marker, and chlorophyll is not black, it's green, but chlorophyll, and there's so much of it, okay, that what happens is this. Chlorophyll hides the other pigments. they're still there. I didn't delete the drawing. I didn't erase it. The pigment is still there, but chlorophyll has hidden it. So chlorophyll, why does it start not blocking those colors? Well, when the weather gets colder, there's a signal to the trees. It is time to go dormant. And when trees are ready to go dormant, they start breaking down chlorophyll because they don't need it. When they're dormant, they're not performing photosynthesis. Okay, they've done their photosynthesis to get them through the winter. Okay, so when the trees start breaking down the chlorophyll, we start to see those other pigments that were there the whole time. But now, since there's less chlorophyll and then eventually not any, we're going to see those amazing oranges and yellows. But those pigments were there the whole time, just being hidden because there's so much chlorophyll. So let's talk about the photosynthesis recipe, which I just think is amazing. We have a couple stages. So first stage, sunlight comes in and gets absorbed by chlorophyll in the chloroplast. So sunlight comes in and what does it do? Breaks water. It breaks water into hydrogen and oxygen. The hydrogen gets saved. We need that for the next stage. The oxygen is going to get released into the air. Okay, so stage one, sunlight comes in, breaks water. Okay, next stage, the hydrogen that we got from stage one and carbon dioxide combine in this whole series of complicated steps, but at the end make glucose. Okay, so stage one, sunlight comes in, breaks water. Stage two, hydrogen combines with carbon dioxide in a whole complicated series of steps, but makes glucose at the end. So at the end, the plant has made sugar or glucose for its food and gives off oxygen to the air as its waste product. And then we breathe in that waste product. Perfect. Okay. Now, what does the plant use that glucose for? That's important. They use it for energy in another process called cellular respiration. They use it to build starch molecules. And then we eat potatoes and stuff like that that has starch in it. They use it to build cellulose to make their cell walls. And they'll use it for their own energy and growth. Okay, so it's used for a lot of things. So here's the whole formula. We start with carbon dioxide, and that comes from the air, water coming up from the roots. We need chlorophyll. That's that amazing pigment that absorbs. Remember, it loves red and blue light the best and reflects green. Okay, chlorophyll inside the chloroplast absorbs the light, and the light is the water breaker. Okay, and then at the end, we get glucose and oxygen. And here are all the formulas. The formula for carbon dioxide, CO2. The formula for water, H2O. The formula for glucose, C6H12O6. And the formula for oxygen, O2. And there you have it, photosynthesis, this amazing process where plants are able to build a molecule of glucose, take the energy from the sun and store it in energy that they can use, and then energy that every other living organism can use to survive. Photosynthesis, totally amazing stuff.